Hey, what's up guys? I hope you're all doing fantastic out there. Today we're going to talk about this new movie called Downhill, directed by Nat Faxon and Jim Rash. It stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Will Ferrell. This is a remake of the 2014 Swedish film Force Majeure. It premiered at Sundance and is getting its theatrical release here in the US. So let's dive into this remake and see what it delivered. Now, I had not seen the original film prior to watching this one, admittedly, so I did go in as a blank slate. I was able to take this movie in as it was to form an unbiased opinion, and then afterwards I went and watched Force Majeure just to see what the differences were and how I would like it overall in comparison to this version. And after seeing both, I would say the preferable film to me would kind of depend on my mood at the time, as I think they both offer their own distinct emotional tone despite revolving around the same plot. Top to bottom, the original is the more complete film, I would say, just in terms of writing, performances, cinematography, scoring, and how everything was wrapped into an intelligently artistic package, but the American remake is not so far of a reach from it, in my opinion. Yes, it does aim for much more of the humor with the use of some cliche side characters, and of course the cartoonish mannerisms of Will Ferrell, but it also hits with much more of a dramatic impact on a few occasions that I thought gave it a raw emotional intensity that the original lacked. Like the Swedish film did, this one also brings some very capable direction and cinematography. I thought it was a beautifully shot film overall, and regardless of some of the minor shortcomings to the original in terms of comparison, I thought on its own it was a very enjoyable movie. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was given a much meatier role than Will Ferrell with a wider arc to her character, and she brought a great performance to the film. After having a near miss from a controlled avalanche, seeing her husband grab his phone and run, just leaving her and her two kids behind, she has a lot of internal confliction going on inside of her, and this just ignites a wave of turmoil as to where their marriage was going to go. And Louis-Dreyfus really delivered it all with a heartfelt sincerity. I was just continually curious to see what she would ultimately do to either rebuild the foundation of her family or let it crumble because of one instance that could actually speak to a much larger issue. And her emotional wave of reactions throughout the film is really what created that connection which invested me into the story. Not having seen the original, it was her character that really maintained that intrigue as to where this marriage would stand when the end credits rolled. I thought Will Ferrell was capable as well. He shared a natural timing and chemistry with Louis-Dreyfus that really did sell their aged relationship. He was able to hit some solid emotional beats as well to remind you that he can do some drama when the role requires it, but given he is Will Ferrell, there was just some familiar moments that routinely reminded me I was watching Will Ferrell and not his character Pete, a man that was grieving from the loss of his father and troubled by the fact his heart may not be in his marriage anymore. And for me personally, I thought that was the main hindrance in this movie. The humor, it did get in the way here and there, but it was still a comical movie overall that made me laugh. The issue for me was that as a husband, that character was the only one I was really unable to connect with. I could put myself in the place of Billy to feel the turmoil that she felt about her strained marriage. I could also easily connect to the two kids who get pulled into the middle of their parents' argument and just the stormy environment that can create in the family. Yet with the cartoonish approach given to Ferrell as the husband, he came off more immature than his kids at times, which I didn't really like so much. And instead of feeling like a down-to-earth clash between a mature married couple and seeing how they would work things out in a practical, realistic way through some of Ferrell's routine antics, there was just a feeling of a wife being without a partner and instead having a husband that is like one of her kids for the simple sake of getting some laughs in the story. I don't think it does damper the message too much in the movie, but it does give the movie a bit of a novelty vibe to it in places where the original never charted. Again, though, this is a remake, a reimagining of the original plotline. It's going to be different. You want it to be different, and not all of what this film does work effectively, but I thought enough of it did to make it an enjoyable film from a pure storytelling aspect, despite not necessarily being able to rival its predecessor. Visually, like I said, I thought the direction and cinematography was excellently done. They worked so well together. The landscapes are stunning. They provide just constant visual appeal in the backdrop of many scenes. The overall motion of the camera throughout was very fluid. It translates into a depth that I think can really immerse the viewer into the snowy paradise. The runtime also keeps it pretty short, which I felt was able to keep the engagement level up. There still was a slight lull during the second act, but for the most part the pace is relatively swift, and with nice splashes of comedy and some stark jabs of drama, there was a charming ebb and flow to the mood that I enjoyed, and it made the movie very easy to watch. So overall, I had a good time with it. I'm going to give Downhill 75% on the meter. It captured my imagination. It had me invested in this family dealing with troubled times to see how they would result at the end. It doesn't feel melodramatic, and even though some of the humor here and there is a little bit forced, it still maintains an amusing tone that didn't really undercut the drama as much as you would expect it to. And if you've liked the trailers, give it a shot. You may have some fun with it. If you love Force Majeure, you're probably not going to like it, and you're going to let me know down in the comments, so I look forward to that. But this movie didn't deliver the same package as the original did, but it does put together a solid movie on its own without feeling like a simple copy, and there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop it a thumbs up, leave a comment below. I'd love to talk movies with you guys. Share it with your friends, and without question, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can never miss a video. Here are some links to some recent reviews just in case you missed them. All my social media links and the link to our official website are down in the description below, and I'll catch you next time.